Okay, so this is a wild statement that you can do your best to make sense of, and we shall see how how you sort of like deal with it, because I can't really comprehend it other than reading it as a mere word salad and some sort of propaganda. I really can't make sense of it because it's just so dumb. The theme is, well, kind of like my favorite subject these days, namely climate. And just by hearing the word climate, I'm sort of half triggered, especially because I've actually studied a little bit about this theme at the university. I've also read a little bit about it. I've also experienced it. So I mean, haven't we all? And yeah, I don't see any climate changes. Well, I guess I see climate changes, but those are just seasonal variations. Anyway, try and see if you can make sense of this statement. This is in reference to the cold, to especially a lot of these winter storms that the US sustained earlier this year in January. Here it goes. In a world that's getting warmer, you need to expect more cold weather. But we have proof that winters in the USA get milder, and there has been some hot air hitting the Pacific Ocean, but right now it was the cold air that hit USA. What? What are you saying? I'm going to read you the statement again because it's so outrageous and it's so wild. In a world that's getting warmer, you need to expect more cold weather. What? But we have proof that winters in USA get milder, and there has been some hot air hitting the Pacific Ocean, but right now it was the cold air that hit USA. Again, what? Where's your proof, by the way? Now, I should mention, I read this in some article, and I meticulously scanned, I thoroughly scanned the article for proof. There wasn't any proof, except the usual statements about, yeah, every year the Earth's getting hotter, the Earth's getting slowly heated up. In 50 years, we won't have any winters, etc., etc. The same old garbage. But just listen to how outrageous it is. In a world that's getting warmer, you need to expect more cold weather. I mean, you're literally saying the opposite. And also, and the final segment of the statement. And there has been some hot air hitting the Pacific Ocean, but right now it was the cold air that hit USA. Right now being in January. Yet, duh, it's January. Cold air is gonna hit mainland USA and mainland Europe and other parts of the world. It's normal that there are winter storms during winter. Now, are there why can't I say seasonal? Are there seasonal variations? Are there fluctuations? Oh, yes, there are. I mean, speaking of which, this year is one of those El Nino years. El Nino is this weather phenomenon which causes, I think, some ocean currents in the Pacific Ocean are affected by it. I'm not particularly sure. I don't know exactly how it works, but it is some phenomenon, that occurs every other year. And it makes the Earth hotter. Here is some outrageous statement that I read about El Nino. Some meteorologist. What's the word I'm looking for? Meteorologist. Why is it so difficult to say meteorologist? Some meteorologist or some climate researcher was interviewed about it, and they said something along the lines of, it's not unlikely that the upcoming El Nino might be related to climate changes. It's not unlikely that it might be connected. That's just a fancy way of saying I need to come up with an excuse about what's going to happen, and we need to blame climate changes for it because we need a scapegoat, because we can't accept that Mother Nature and Earth are imperfect and that there is always going to be fluctuations. I mean, think about it. 20,000 years ago, the latest ice age came to a conclusion, and the Earth started to get hotter. The temperatures increased. The ice cap started to melt. And so the temperature was low, then it started to rise again. I don't know about you, but that's a massive climate change. That's global warming. When the polar ice caps melt, and when there is an ice age, that stops being an ice age. Also, just to interject, like I've previously said, 6,500 to 7,000 years ago, the biggest glacier in my country was almost gone during the post-glacial warming, whatever you want to call it. Just some food for thought. But nobody's blaming fossil fuel cars for that because, there weren't that many fossil fuel cars way back then. It's so dumb and it's so ridiculous. And, these wild statements, they have to interject hot air and how it's warmer than usual every single day, even when it's snowing outside. At the time of this recording, by the way, there isn't snow outside where I am currently because, it's the springtime where I am, and so we're headed towards summer. But that doesn't mean that there can't be snow tomorrow, because that's how the weather works. In fact, in many places in my country, there is snow laying around on the ground up until late May. It's normal. That's how the weather works. Anyway, getting back to the point here. If you want to persuade somebody to believe in climate change, how about you present them with real, actual, tangible proof? And also, how about you talk about all the factors that will affect the climate? There's a reason why the UN climate report is 6,000 pages long. And I bet you most people haven't even read a single one of those pages. And why is that? Well, because it's such a climate subject. It's such a complicated subject. It can't be it can't be summarized in just one sentence. It's not possible because there are too many factors that affect it. It's just common sense. And so every single time these dorks get an excuse, get a reason to comment on the weather, they have to talk about global change, about global climate change and about global warming, because that's the big talking point, because there is a lot of money in it. If there wasn't a lot of money in it, people wouldn't be talking about it. You know what's important, you know what's important, but where there's not enough money at all in it? That's the construction of roads. Yeah, roads cost, but there's actually, roads is one thing, infrastructure is one thing, but I'm going to tell you something else. The drains. The tubes and the pipes connected between each household and some water rinsing plant that's responsible for getting you drinking water and water in your closet so that you can take a crap, so that you can take a shower, etc., etc. That doesn't get talked about at all because it's a boring subject, but it is an important subject. What would happen tomorrow if you didn't have any water in your tubes, in your pipes leading into your house? You can wash your hands, you can pour yourself a drink, you can cook coffee, you can take a shower, you can wash, you can take a crap, you can piss. Think about it. That's important, but it's boring to talk about, but it's very, very, very important. And it actually requires a lot of money, but it's not a fancy or cool thing to talk about because we can't blame mankind for it. There is no scapegoat other than a lack of maintenance. Anyway, long rant over. The point is, if you want to persuade somebody, then at the very least do it properly. If you want to persuade somebody about climate change, and you want to comment on winter storms in January, I recommend that you don't talk about hot air and about mild winters, because it kind of doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't harmonize with the what's the word I'm looking for? With the optics. If people see that there are winter storms and snowfall outside, you can't talk about mild winters because nobody believes you. It doesn't make any sense. It literally doesn't make any sense. Anyway, rant over, finally. Get subscribed to my email list if you want to learn more about persuasion by clicking the link in the episode description wherever you're watching and or listening to this, and I'll see you there.